Welcome back to my Star Wars Legends Expanded Universe chronological timeline rating, where I go through the expanded universe in my personal chronological list and rank every individual piece of EU out of 10 stars, a 10-point scale. I'd like to point out that this issue, which is Dawn of the Jedi Force War number 2, is one of my favorite comic issue covers. The purple and green color scheme looks really good, and the artwork is really good of Zesh and Trill fighting. And it says on it, "Old friends, old enemies," and it's got the little catchphrase Dark Horse like to put on all their things. So we open with Zesh having a nightmare. It's a weird dream-like sequence. The art is super trippy. He's like spiraling in and out of reality. His face is going all smushy. Things around him are weird. He's falling through the faces of those he's killed, and he's a slave of the Empire, and he'll never escape his dark past. But he wakes up from his nightmare, and Shay comforts him and rushes to ease his worries that he is now in reality again. And then they have, a meaningful conversation, and Shay's like, "I'm in love with you, Zesh," and Zesh is like, "Okay, that's great." And then Zesh is like, "Zesh is not my real name. I remembered my real name, and it is Tau, it's Tau, Tau, I'm gonna say Teu, I'm just gonna say Teu for the sake of this. We also learn that Teu means soul. So, I'm not sure why they felt that was a reveal we all wanted to know, but there you go. It happened. Then, that they're planning an attack, but Tasha's feeling a warning, a force vision that's a warning, and she's kind of disconcerted. She feels like this is not going to end well, but, they fly in their ships to Skagora to raid the Rakatans and drive them out. And so they land and they're attacking, but meanwhile Trill is conferring with Scalnus, and something is afoot for their plans, and so they land on a planet, and Dagon and Seknos and Tave are all fighting. There's a lot of background characters in this who are Cathar Jedi, and I love the species of Cathar. I just think they're really cool looking. These like big hulking cats with pointy ears and fur, and I just think they all look really cool. Temba dog species. There's quite a few background Cathar here fighting. And then all of a sudden, Tasha has her vision back at the base on Shikakwa, and she realizes that it's a trap. So this is the first chronological appearance of "it's a trap" being stated in the expanded universe. Write that down. Akbar would be proud. And so Seknos and Dagon and Tave are all in trouble, but then Dagon pulls this huge force lightning blast around him that reminded me of some of the moves that Starkiller uses in the Force Unleashed video game, and he takes many of them out. And meanwhile, elsewhere, Shakota's in the air battling on her new Dragon Rancor with her Force Saber drawn, and she meets another enemy in the air, and they have this battle from standing atop beast to beast, but she uses her anger to dispatch of this Force Hound enemy. And then Quan Jang shows up and scolds her. Meanwhile, Trill is picking her way through the battle, searching for Seknos, and then all of a sudden Zesh is there and he grabs her, and he calls her Seknos' woman, because he doesn't know her name, and he's like, "You have no connection to the Force," and yet how she fired at him from behind without seeing him. So he's like, "That's odd. You claim you don't have the Force, but you have powers that clearly seem to suggest you can use the Force." So he's a little suspicious. Suspicions are raised for Zesh, and she's just like, "It was lucky," and he's like, I'll be watching you." And so they sneak through some underground tunnels that have been created in the blasts ravaging the planet. And we don't know what exactly has happened to the others who had walked into a trap. But then Zesh enters this room and he says, "As I feared, the Rakata have enslaved any Jedi who survived." And they're all in the like pods being tortured and drained of energy, similar to what the Cyruk use from Trusa Bakura. Or at least it reminds me of the like that power draining method of humans or sentience. And he sees Seknos there, so at least some of those who had walked into a trap are now enslaved, and they have devices hooked up to them and stuff. And Zesh went through this as well himself, as he was a Force Hound. So now he's worried, but then backstabbed. Trill uses Force Lightning on him from behind, and he's like, "This will be the fate of every Jedi if we don't stop the Rakata here." And then she says, "Yes, it will be," and that's where the issue ends. So Trill has shown her true colors. She's been undercover for like 8 issues, but now she has backstabbed her former friend who had no memory of her, and Zesh collapses into unconsciousness, and oh no, what's gonna happen next? That's where this one leaves off. So it's another solid issue. It's better than the last issue, I would say. It just adds a point for that classic Star Wars line, "It's a trap," I'd give it a 5 of 10. What about you guys? What would you give it out of 10? There's nothing wrong with it. Art's always great. It's great to see the reveal of Trill. Nice that Shea Koda and Zesh are finally, together officially. They posted it on their Facebook or their Instagram. So yeah, it's a good old issue. Glad Tasha said it's a trap. That just props to her. Adds lots of points to this issue. It's good. It's solid. But again, what about you guys? What did you think of this issue?